Alright everyone, so we're going to do a few things in this video. We're still really in the introduction part of using Stata, and today we are going to um, look at a few things. We're going to open a data set, we're going to describe that data set, we're actually going to add some notes to that data set or metadata. We're going to look at describing variables, types of variables, and labeling variables. So a few things. Again, this is all data management stuff. We're not going to be doing any analysis of data, for a few more videos. But I did want to do a few things just to show you some of the things that you can do with your data using Stata. Now, there are a number of ways that you can open a data set. One of the things that we're going to be looking at in a subsequent video is that there are three ways that you can do something in Stata. You can use point and click, you can use the command window, and you can use a do file. So you don't need to worry about what all those things mean yet. Now, you can open a data set using any of those methods. You can do point and click, you can use the command window, you can use the do file. We're actually not going to do any of those things. We're actually going to open a data set like we would open any other file. And then we'll get to how to open them using those different methods later. When you save a data set in Stata, it saves it like it saves any other file, and you can save it into a folder. So you can see here I've got this GSS 2010 big Stata. That's a data set, and you can tell because it ends with the DTA extension. Let's see, do I have any other in this folder? No, so I'm going to go to my Social 596 folder. You can see I've got a few data sets here that I've been working with. What else do we have here? And I've got I've got a number of them. I'm actually going to go back to this folder because these data sets are all based on iPads, which is a publicly available data set. So I'm going to go ahead and open one of my iPads data sets. Let's just do iPads 1. It doesn't really matter what it is. And you can see it opened it up. You can see all the variables here that are in this data set. And then you can see the command came up here. The command that we would have typed is use, and then this whole file name in quotation marks. You can see from just that it's not going to be very often that you're going to open a file from the command line unless you're using one of those system files like the sysuse auto command that we used in the first video. If you're going to be using any other data set that you have stored on a local directory, you're probably going to be using point and click. You're going to go to that directory directly and open it, or you're going to use a do file. Now, if we just type the command notes and hit enter, we're going to see that they have actually already done some notes here. So these are actually notes that I have added to this data set. Now, this data set has been manipulated a few times, so it's replicated this note here. But all these notes here are part of the data set notes files. So I added some notes in here so people would know where I downloaded it from, the date I downloaded it from, the years that the data are from, the variables that are included in this particular download, and what these observations are. I also added some notes to this one variable so people would know how I had recoded that particular variable. You don't really need to understand what any of this means yet, but you do need to know that you can add notes to a data set. So if I do notes and then a colon, and then I just put some note that I want to add to the data set, and I hit enter, the next time I actually just enter the notes command, you'll see that note has been added to the data set. This is called metadata, okay? Just to spell it out for you, it's called metadata. or data about data. It is a way for you to leave notes for yourself about where you got a certain data set. Now, so that's adding metadata. Now, I am going to introduce a new command to you right now, and that is the describe command. So let's just actually type the word describe and hit enter. What you will see is this very long list. I'm going to get back to the top. Okay, so the output starts with data from and the file name. It's going to tell you how many observations there are in this data set, how many variables there are, and the size. It's also going to tell you that it has some notes in it, those notes that we looked at before, this 1 through 12. Then it's going to give you a list of every single variable, the storage type of that variable, and the display format of that variable. It is also going to tell you if there is a value label associated with that variable and a variable label associated with that variable. Now, we are going to talk about a lot of these things in a different video. We're going to talk about storage type, display format, value label, and variable label so that you can understand what these are and how you will do them. But you'll see it'll give you the entire data set, every single variable, and it will also tell you what the data set is sorted by in that particular case. So this data set is currently sorted by this variable PCU ENR HS. Now, I think that's all we're going to do for this particular video, just to keep it short. I am actually going to do one more thing though. We only did describe and hit enter, right? This is the command that we used. And we got everything. If we were to do describe and then one of the variable names, let's actually go with Carnegie, then it's going to give us a description just of that one particular variable. Now, you can see this might be helpful because if you have a data set that has a lot of variables, describing the entire data set gives you a lot of information. If you just want to know about one particular variable, you can do that. You can also do a series of variables if you wanted to. So maybe we wanted to look at Carnegie and year. We can get both of those things in a limited list so that we're not listing every single thing that we have. I'm going to talk about two other shortcuts before I end this video. Sorry, I was going to end it a little prematurely. The first is that in Stata, many commands can be abbreviated. Okay, many commands will come with a shortcut. So for describe, we can actually just do DES, and Stata will know that that means describe. We can also actually do any truncation of describe down to DES. So we can do describe. The other shortcut I want to tell you is you'll notice that this arrow pops up next to these variables. A lot of times you have variable names that have really weird names like TUFEYR3. This is not a series of letters that your fingers want to type. So if you actually just hit that arrow, it's going to return that variable name to the command window so that you don't have to type it manually. And you can see that DES gets us the same kind of output as describe. Alright, that's it for now. Gave you a few shortcuts, taught you a new command, and we'll pick up with